Hey everybody, Kate Buck Jr. here, and welcome to today's webinar. I'm excited. I'm seeing everybody come on, and I'm recognizing a few names as I've done some trainings with you guys before. So just quickly here as we get started, one of the best benefits of working for yourself is that you can be flexible and handle emergencies when they happen, and we had that happen today. Tess is not going to be able to join us, unfortunately. She had to go take care of her sick daughter, and I told her not to worry about it, that I would come in and fill in, because today, actually, I'm not teaching and training you guys. I am introducing you to my business partner and my good friend, Jesse Jameson, who's super smart on Facebook and all things to do with Facebook marketing. And so when Tess invited me to come back and teach you guys, I asked her if I could share the spotlight with Jesse. So I'm excited to be able to introduce him to you today. And it just so happens that I get to do that because Tess got called away. So first of all, Tess, when you see this video, we just want you to know we're sending good healing thoughts and energy and vibes for your daughter. We hope she gets well soon. And also we'll just all be very thankful that we have the kind of flexibility in our businesses and our lives that we can handle things like that when we need to, right? Okay. All right, well, let's jump in. To me, he needs no introduction. And also, you guys, we're using the chat feature. This is new. So actually, before I introduce Jesse, we'd love to get to know a little bit about you guys in the chat there. Just say hello, maybe where you're from and what you could tell us a little bit about your business. I see Jessica's answered us here. She's all the way from Oxford in the UK. That's one of Jesse's favorite places on earth is the UK. And Rumela is here. She's the CEO and founder of her virtual administrative assistants to small business owners and other professionals. Tony's here, and Beverly's calling in from Jamaica. Awesome. We have Bronwyn's here from Mooloolaba, Australia. Wow, so we have people from all over. Thanks so much for taking the time out to tune in. All right, so because that's the case, I want to make sure we make valuable use of your time. So I'm going to introduce you to Jesse now, who's going to train you guys today on Facebook for Business. And we know a lot of you have virtual assistant businesses where you're providing these services to clients. And the information that Jesse is going to share with you is specifically test results and things that we have learned from working with clients in our agency, Hey Now Interactive. So Jesse has been marketing online for 17 years. He started off back in 1999 as a network marketer. In 2001, he went full-time online, quit his day job, and has been marketing online ever since. The last 5 years, Jesse has been specifically focusing on Facebook, and around year 3 of that, I guess, is when I kind of came in the picture and shared with him everything that I know about organic social media, everything from being in my phone all the time on Twitters. And so he's taken everything he's learned from his time in network marketing and lead generation and being a direct response marketer and studying Facebook and watching me on my phone all the time in social media and working with all of our clients. And really the presentation that you are going to get today is answer sort of the question, I believe, for him if he had to start over today or work with any business today, knowing everything that he knows about all online business, all marketing. The things he's going to talk to you today about are going to be the most effective things that a business can do when marketing themselves online today. So you've got a culmination of 17 years of very intense study from Jesse, of information coming to you here in the next hour. So Jesse, thank you very much for being on this webinar with me today. I don't think I've ever introduced you that way before. And I'm gonna pass it on over to you to say hello for a few minutes, and then we'll jump into your slides.
Sounds good. Can you hear me okay?
I can, yeah. You guys can let me know in the chat if there's any sound issues.
Right. Can you see me okay as well? Did we switch over to
yeah.
All right.
Yep, awesome. You very well.
I did put up a poll question, which is, what is your level of experience with Facebook marketing? I see a couple of people have answered saying that you're beginner. I'm not even sure where they find that on the attendee end, Kate, so maybe you could help them with that. But I'd love to get a few more answers, because what I really want to do is I want to tailor this presentation to you as an audience. So I want to make sure that if I have to dial it down some, if it's too easy and I need to share a few more advanced strategies, things like that, I want to make sure that I do.
Hey Jesse, can you turn up your mic? Can you get a little closer to the microphone or turn it up just a little bit? You're a little quiet for me, and I know I'm a little bit loud. So. Aha!
Is that better?
Oh, yay! Yes.
All right. Yeah, it's that little button I have back there. I forgot I didn't have that pushed. So.
Right. All right. Good.
Very cool. Awesome. The feedback so far looks like the majority of you are just getting started. So that's very useful information. And I think I'll be good with the dialing this in just for you. In fact, I just got back from a 4-day retreat where I was training every day, and all of the people that we were training at this retreat were just getting started themselves. And it's my understanding that all of you, for the most part, come from the Virtual Assistant Forums community with Tess, so that you have a business of your own now. And as Kate mentioned, I come from the home-based business space. Myself, I've been entrenched in it for quite a few years, and I'll share just a slide. Won't take 30 seconds to talk a little bit about my background so that you understand why you might want to take the next hour to listen to some of the things I'm going to share with you. But I really do know the home-based business space. I've even run at one point, the largest social network specifically for home-based business owners until just a few years ago. And then all my attention since then has been in marketing our agency and, of course, our information products with a focus on Facebook. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. And just so you know that you're really going to get a lot of good content here. If you've ever heard me do a presentation before, you know that I really don't have a lot of fluff and I cover a lot of ground. So let me see here if you can see my screen. Okay, Kate.
Yep, I see it just fine.
Rock and roll. Here we go. Awesome. So let's get right to it. Welcome to this workshop on Facebook for Business. Now, when I originally designed this, it was designed specifically for business owners, both large and small. I made a couple of adjustments here to dial it back to those that may be also providing these same services as an extension of an offering for your own business. And again, as I've mentioned, if you ever see me speak, I cover a lot. So if you have the ability to take notes, and hopefully you downloaded the cheat sheet that was provided so you can fill in all those blanks and also take additional notes. And of course, shut down any distractions you can, because I am going to go at a pretty good pace here.
Yeah. And Google Hangouts bandwidth, if you have a lot of tabs open, that some of you are saying it's cutting in and out a little bit. It's not for me at all. So if you have a lot of tabs open, you might want to close those out so that your computer is all running at tip-top speed.
Good call. All right. So again, my name is Jesse Jameson. I'm your host for this workshop. And just to give you a bit of background, as I mentioned, I got started a very long time ago. I became a full-time internet marketer in 2001. I had a lead generation business in 2003. As I mentioned, Better Networker up through 2010, which is a large social network for home business owners. And ever since that time, I have been focused on Facebook. I started teaching a few years ago a lot of the strategies at live events that I'm putting in place now through our agency and the things I've learned along the way. So that is what I'm going to share with you. And as I mentioned, you're going to learn quite a bit. So just jumping straight in, for those of you that have even remotely dabbled in social media, you know that it can be both a blessing and a curse. In the case of GoPro, for instance, which we're all familiar with as a brand, the overwhelming majority of their marketing comes from their customers. While at the same time, your business can crash and burn overnight. If any of you remember Amy's Baking Company, they're on a episode of Kitchen Nightmares. And let's just say that the way the owner handled themselves in social media ruined their reputation. So, the question becomes, what is the difference? And the difference is understanding the rules of engagement. Now, even if you have dabbled in social media, chances are that you found that it takes far more time than you imagine. And especially for those of you that provide virtual assistant services, you know that you get all different types of requests for, hey, can you manage this for me? Can you manage the Twitter account? Can you manage my Facebook account? And the question always becomes, how do you get the most return for your time rather than just spending all kinds of time on social media? Because there's so many places that have dabbled, and what ends up happening is when they don't get the results they want, you see all these abandoned pages. And we've all seen the pages where their last post was a year ago, and they're just not doing anything with it now. Now, when I first moved here to Austin, Texas, I was living in this apartment community called Mosaic at Mueller. And what's interesting is that they have a captive audience. They have hundreds of people that live there. Yet, even when they post for garage sales and all these different promotions and things they're doing, they get zero engagement. And the question becomes why? Why is it that when they actually have a captive audience of people who live there, they still are not able to get any interaction on Facebook where people are spending their time? Kate and I were in Sacramento last year, or has it been a year, 2 years now when we were there? We went to a restaurant called Bacon and Butter. Now, granted, with a name like Bacon and Butter, you do kind of have a head start with social media. Yet these guys have nearly 10,000 fans and 22,000 people have checked in there. And as you can see, their posts get engagement, even on a churro donut. And a big part of it, as you can see in the bottom right corner, is that Bacon and Butter as a company actually engage and have conversation with the people that engage their site. So what separates the success of these two pages? Now, if you yourselves are feeling some empathy for, this first page here and their experience with social media sounds familiar to you, perhaps hits a little close to home, you might find some comfort in knowing that you're not alone and that I have certainty that I can show you here on this workshop and this webinar how to fix it. So real quickly, my goals for you for this workshop are to see Facebook in a whole new light. I train a little bit differently. I don't just train in tactics and strategies. And the reason that I don't is because those things are often short-lived and you're constantly having to reinvent what you do. I'm going to give you some very deep principles that help you understand how Facebook works in the first place. And with that foundation, you will be able to get pages to perform. You will be able to get reach and engagement, both for yourself and for your clients, if that's what you choose to do. So as I mentioned, we're not going to be covering any fluff today. I'm going to be sticking to meat and potatoes of what Facebook can do for you and your business. And so here's what we're going to learn. We're going to take a quick look at how Facebook is evolving and most importantly, why. And then I'm going to dig into the top 6 things. And these are what I call Facebook power plays for business. Now, while there are many things that Facebook can do, I have narrowed it down to some very powerful and immediately low-hanging fruit. These are the things that are going to produce the greatest results for the least amount of effort. That's going to give any business a serious advantage over the competition. I'm also going to cover how to produce instant traffic to your website, not just any traffic, but highly targeted traffic with people who are most likely to buy your products and services. I'm also going to talk about building a social hub for your business on Facebook, meaning your fan page. What does it actually take to build a hub where people can have, your tribe can have a conversation about whatever it is that you're offering and how you can participate and actually reach them? I'm going to dig into the Facebook Audience Insight tool. This is a brilliant way to get information that before Facebook, you would have had to pay a large company like International Data Corporation a lot of money to get this kind of data. I'm also going to talk about a subject that sounds complicated, but I'm going to make it real simple, and that is retargeting. It's something that Facebook has made available now for a year or so, and every business that uses this is seeing some amazing results, and you're going to see why. Let's see here. I'm also going to cover Facebook's fairly new lead generation ads. This is for anyone that's doing any type of email marketing. If you have an email list or you're trying to build one, I have not found any other place online to get cheaper leads that are really targeted than through this new advertising campaign on Facebook. So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to talk a little bit about Facebook's new native shop feature, which allows you to sell physical products directly from your Facebook page using Stripe as a merchant processor. Very easy to set up. And this is a new offering of Facebook from this year. I'm also going to talk about a few third-party solutions. And of course, if that wasn't enough, and like I said, I do pack a lot into this, I'm going to start and share the 3 primary objectives of all of your Facebook marketing efforts. Everything that you do should be put through these 3 views for an objective for your business or any business that you're helping with Facebook. Then I'm going to answer that big question. What's the investment of time and money that's required for Facebook success? How much do you have to spend money? How much time do you have to spend? What's the minimum you can spend to see any type of a return on your investment? And then I'm going to move into a primer on Facebook content, where to find the good stuff, how to spin it and make it your own. And I'll show you several powerful tools that we use in our agency. I'm also going to talk a bit about the CSEI content posting formula. This is something that we teach all of our students as social media professionals, and it's something that we apply within our own agency. I'm going to talk about the 135 post rating system. This is so that you can quickly look at anyone's post and kind of assess the value and reach, how the market responded to that post. Let's see. Then also we're going to talk about the single most powerful Facebook activity, the one that drives high engagement to a page, and how and when to use it. So, like I said, a lot to cover, but we will get through this in an hour. And so to begin, I want to share one single slide with you that is the foundation of everything that I teach about social media. It's my personal philosophy, and it's the basis for a book that I'm writing, and it's the culmination of everything that I have learned about social media over the past 5 to 6 years. And so I share this with you. The internet as a whole is a reflection of collective consciousness. It's not good, it's not bad, it simply is. And social media is how we as individuals, as tribes, and as a collective interact with that reflection. And so for a business to thrive in social media, it must find its tribe. And if the tribe doesn't yet exist, you create one. To find or create a tribe, a business must intimately know the individuals that it serves. And a business must have clarity about its own unique expression of value. And it must deliver an experience that serves the tribe, serves the individual, and under the best of circumstances, it serves the collective, everyone. So let's begin. Now, of all social networks, Facebook is the clear king. And without too much fanfare, I have just a couple of slides that helps us to understand just how big it's become. Now, there are currently 1.5 billion, that's with a B, active users, which represents 20% of the world's population. Now, let that sink in for just a moment. And 20% of all time spent on the internet is spent on Facebook. Now, my guess is here, and I've asked this of audiences when I speak, how many of you have already been on Facebook today? And it's nearly everyone in the room. And that's probably the case for all of you that are on this webinar as well. Now, Facebook, this is an important figure here, is that Facebook's quarterly advertising revenue, which is how Facebook makes its money, grew to $5.6 billion in the last 3 months of 2015. Now, you can see I added that star there to extend it out beyond this graph. And here's the crazy thing. 80% of all that advertising revenue came from mobile devices. And mobile advertising didn't even exist on Facebook past the mid-2012. So this has all only happened within the past few years. So this is telling you where everything is going. And why this is significant to understand is that everything that you're putting through online, this includes your own personal website. You want to make certain that you know that the thumbs rule the internet. So you want to make certain that the experience for your prospects and your customers, everything you do is mobile friendly. Now, so many people skip this one very important thing. And without this foundation, you're not going to have any success on Facebook. And if you do, it'll be scattered and random. The question is why are people on Facebook to begin with? Now, the first thing here to understand is that there's 3 primary reasons. And the first of which is to connect. Connection is one of the most important human needs. And Facebook has become one of the primary ways that our culture at this time, throughout all societies, connect with each other and help us to stay connected regardless of the distance. I mean, you have friends and family that are probably scattered throughout the world, but yet you can be a part of their daily lives as a result of Facebook. Sharing is the next primary reason that people are on Facebook. Self-expression is about significance, which is another basic human need. We all want to feel connected, but we also want to feel unique and significant. And when we share parts of our lives with other people liking and commenting and sharing what we've shared, it makes us feel significant as an individual. And of course, the third reason is we are there to be entertained. I mean, Grumpy Cat is not going away anytime soon. It breaks up the monotony of the day. We go there to escape and get an instant slice of feel good, be it a funny quote, an image of something that's amusing, a video. The most shared content on social networks are posts that are entertaining. And this is why Facebook pages with the most fans belong to celebrities and athletes like soccer player Cristiano Ronaldo with 109 million fans, Shakira with 104 million fans, Vin Diesel 97, Eminem 92 million fans. So with very few exceptions, people are not logging into Facebook today to solve a problem or to buy a product or service. Now, does this mean that products and services can't be sold or that problems can't be solved on Facebook? Of course not. It just means that it's not the driving force that brought you or me there in the first place. Now, commerce is definitely taking place on Facebook. And while Facebook does have ongoing initiatives in place that are slowly changing the behavior of its members, it knows that in order to ensure its own survival as the go-to social network, it must serve the primary needs of its members and it must protect the user experience at all costs. Otherwise, it has the potential of going the same way that MySpace did. And we know how that ended. So again, it's to help them connect with their friends, family, and interest, and to give them a platform for expression so that they can share with the world. And it's to be entertained, to get an instant slice of feel good. Now, everything that you do as a company, your own company, or if you're representing another company on Facebook, should be filtered through this understanding. Knowing why the social network exists and what its members actually get from it will give you insight into how to approach them. And when you as a business learn to connect, share, and entertain with your tribe, the people that you've gathered there as an audience, then you're building up social credibility that allows you to then invite them to consume additional value from your company, an invitation. So now that we have an understanding of why people are on Facebook, let's take a look at what Facebook can do for your business. Now, the very first thing that Facebook can do for your business is to provide you with an instant source of traffic. Well, how does it do this? Well, with Facebook ads, and while Facebook advertising was intimidating to a lot of people for a long time, it really is not a far stretch for you to be up and running. And I'm going to explain why. But just wanted to tell you here that as a part of the advertising screen, this is one of the first things that you see popping up, asking you, what is your objective? What do you want to do? Well, clicks the website. And it begins by just telling you to put in the URL to your website. And this is great whether you want to send someone directly to your homepage, a special event or offer. It could be straight to a menu for a restaurant. You can be up and running with a live ad and driving traffic today. So what are the requirements to run your very first ad if you've never, ever done this before on Facebook? Well, the first thing is you must have a personal Facebook account. And I'm pretty certain that all of you do. Facebook wants this to be able to confirm your identity. Now, every personal Facebook account will automatically give you an ad account. All you simply have to do is there's a menu, you drop down, you say, I want to create an ad. And all of a sudden it'll go through a thing of creating an ad account for you. Now, once you have the ability to create an ad because you have an ad account, it's just simply a matter of associating that ad with a Facebook page. So you need to be an administrator on a Facebook page. If this is for a client, you simply need to be an admin on their Facebook page. Now, I often get the question, if I have a client that I'm going to do some Facebook marketing for, should I do it through my own account or should I do it through theirs? And my answer to that is you always want to do it through their account because it's tied to their credit card. You don't want to be billing your client in arrears. You don't want to put the burden of financing the ads on you. So to do that, all you're simply going to do is make sure that you're an admin on their Facebook page. Many of you already are on for clients. And you're also going to make sure that they add you as an advertiser or an administrator on their ad account, and that will give you access to their ad account. Okay, so the next thing that Facebook can do for your business is to provide you with a social hub. And this is the one that most people already are somewhat familiar with. You know, it's a place for you to interact with your tribe, you know, on the most powerful website on the planet. It's where you tell your story. It's where anyone passing by can learn a bit about what you stand for as a company, who you serve, the value that you offer. You know, in order for your business to take full advantage of Facebook, it's clear that you must have a page. This includes placing ads. And we'll get back more to pages here in a moment. I'm just going some high level of what Facebook can actually do for a business and some services that you may consider offering to your clients. Now, Facebook holds the largest amount of behavior data about humans, period. Why? Because it knows its individual members intimately. It knows who your friends and who your family are. It knows based on the things that you write and type what's important to you, the pages that you like. So until Facebook, the most precious data resource was Google. However, the moment that someone on the internet walks through those doors, meaning they log into Facebook, there is now a big gaping hole in what Google knows about you, which is why they attempted their own social network with Google+. Now, what does this data mean for you? Now that you have free access to what would have, I mentioned earlier, what would have cost you a lot of money in the past prior to Facebook, and that is useful insights about your target market through a free tool called Audience Insights. So now simply having a Facebook account, which gets you an ad account, you have access to the Audience Insights tool. So what can you...
Yes. I'm just wondering if anybody in the chat, have you guys used the Audience Insight tool? Can you guys just put in the chat if you've used the Audience Insight tool before? I'm just curious. I'll let you know when I get some responses.
Sure. And while they're answering that, I'll just talk a little bit more about it. So one of the things that it can do for you, and I'll give you an example. Let's say that I'm a pizza restaurant here in Austin, Texas, and I'm using the Audience Insights tool. And that all that I did was enter Austin, Texas, and under interests, I entered the word pizza. And based on that, I would instantly know about the local market here of anyone on Facebook that lives in Austin, Texas, that has at any time expressed an interest in pizza, whether they like the page, various different ways that Facebook can collect this information. So what can I learn? Well, the first thing is I know that there's an active market of about 100 to 150,000 monthly active users that meet that information right there. It's 2 simple steps, and I've got that. I also can tell that it's the primary chunk of the market is men and women ages 25 to 34. The data begins to tell a story about who they are. You see over where it's the numbers in green percentages, that's essentially telling me that compared to the average Facebook user, these people are much more likely, this audience, to be career builders, to be solid single parent. I could learn things such as a lot of them are food preparation and services as a job title. Sales and management, IT and technical. I'm starting to learn about who these people are. What is this going to do? This will influence the kind of things that I post. Or if I have an email list, I can use this outside of Facebook. And it's telling me a story about who my market is so that I can create marketing material that is better suited to who they are. Any feedback there, Kate, just as whether they have or not?
Yeah, it seems like maybe about a fourth, 25 to 30% of the people said yes.
Okay.
But lots of nope, haven't used it, and a couple people didn't even know, didn't even know what it was. So
Gotcha. Yep.
Glad that we're talking about it.
Absolutely. You can also see what other pages they've liked on Facebook. So for instance, this tells me that Gaddy's Pizza currently has the most social media traction here in Austin. Now, when I saw this, I was like, huh. So Kate, being from Austin, born, not born here, but lived here her whole life, I turned around to her in the office and I said, is this, you're familiar with Gaddy's, right? And so she was able to sing me their entire jingle that she remembered from when she was a kid, including their phone number. So
you'd like me to do that right now for you? Just kidding.
So just with a couple quick searches of using this free tool, I now know something about the market here for pizza in Austin. Now, how does this apply to you? So think about this. Let's say that one of your clients that you're providing virtual assistant services for wants to know a little bit about their market. You could provide them with information that they probably already do not know because they have not used this audience audience insights tool. So you have a way to provide value. You could even create a report for them that's of some value and provide that as a service. A lot of interesting things you can do with it here. So essentially, I know that I can start following Gaddy's Pizza, see what kind of stuff they're posting, since they have 63,000 fans that clearly love their pizza. So yeah, very useful. So that's one of the things. And again, we have a lot more to go on to. I'm giving you a high level overview because some of these are going to relate to you and you're going to be like, that's a great tool. I want to use it. And then others of you might be looking to some of these other things I'm going to share next. So the next thing I'm going to share that what Facebook can do for your business is retargeting. This is arguably the most powerful things that Facebook can do. It's also very intimidating to people, but I promise you, it's super easy to set up. I just helped some people that barely learn how to cut and paste this past weekend get set up with retargeting on their blogs. They just got a blog set up this weekend and we actually helped them get retargeting there as well. But I want to tell you what it is, break it down for you so that you have a clear understanding of why, if you have a website that gets any kind of traffic right now, and if you have an offer, you're selling a product or service, or you're wanting them to do something like subscribe to your newsletter, why you absolutely want to be retargeting.
I'm curious again, if you guys want to pop in the chat and just let me know who has any experience using Facebook retargeting. Love to know if you've tried to set up a campaign before, had any success with it, or is this your first time hearing about Facebook retargeting?
And while they're answering that, I'll tell you, I started speaking on the topic of retargeting last year, created training around it. And when I was doing my research, I found that less than something like, I think I looked at 150 small companies, and about 7 of them were actually using retargeting on their site. And then I looked at even major corporations, and even a small percentage of them were, but now more and more are starting to because of the power of it. And you're going to understand why as I go through and explain in simple terms what retargeting is. Any feedback, Kate?
No experience, first time hearing about it, first time hearing about it. Are these the ads that seem to follow you around the web?
Those are the very same ads.
Yep, a lot of first times hearing about it. Someone else did set up a campaign retargeting for my professional wrestling fan page.
Gotcha.
All right, a lot of no experiences, so you guys are in for a treat.
All right. So as you know, there are many ways to get someone to your website for the very first time. Now, some of the most common ways are through email, paid search, natural search, social media, affiliate marketing, all kinds of ads, press releases, a lot of different ways that traffic may find, how traffic might get to your website to begin with. Now, regardless of how they got there, once they land on your site, there is a little mechanism in place that begins tracking them. Now, in the case of Facebook, it's a small snippet of code that is easily placed on your website, referred to as pixel code. And the process of doing this takes you less than 5 minutes. I mean, it's super simple. It's a couple taps and paste. And now this code is on all the pages of your website. If you're using like WordPress, which most people use, very simple to add this. And so now that it's there, what does it do? It starts monitoring the actions of the people who are visiting your site. It's essentially recording their action, not mouse clicks or anything like that, or scrolls of the mouse, but rather where they navigated on your site, what links they clicked on. So it's going to time and date stamp what links they visited on your website. Yeah, here you go. When did they visit? What did they search for? If you happen to have search on a site, what pages have they visited? And with that, now chances are you have a website, you know, for the purpose of marketing something, whether it's offering your services as a virtual assistant, which means that ideally you want them to take some kind of action. However, the reality of all online marketing is that 98% of the people who visit your website for the very first time will leave without buying. Now, just to drive that point home, this is a screenshot from a client's Google Analytics. And this is a really large client that does about $80 million a year online. Now, this is a large example. My point here is that of all of the visits to their website, 62 million visits, only 1%, 1.59% resulted in a transaction. And that is normal for the internet. Now, why is this? You know, you've experienced this. How many times have you been interrupted doing something online for reasons of the dog barking, the baby crying, someone at the door, late for work, whatever it might be? There are many reasons why people get distracted and they may never come back to your website again. However, because you have that little snippet of code that you placed one time on your website and it's on all the pages now, you have the ability to retarget them with ads on Facebook. So when they visit Facebook, they are likely to see whatever ad that you place there, and they can see it on their news feed. They might see it in the right-hand column on their mobile device, on Instagram. And so it's a very unique way to place ads. Why? Because it's super, super cheap. You're only buying ads for the people who have already expressed interest in what you have to offer. So let's just say you had 500 people that visited your website in the past, you know, whatever, week, month, you know, not everyone gets a lot of traffic, but let's just say you had 500 visitors over the course of a month that happen to stop by your website. Well, those are the only people that you might want to target with an ad. Perhaps they clicked on services. Well, you know that they're looking for some type of service from you. You can now place an ad that's just specific to services or whatever they happen to click on. So once they click on that ad, it takes them back to wherever you want them to go. Now, I call this dynamic re-engagement. And here's what I mean by this in super simple terms. With most advertising, and you've seen it, you see the same ad over and over and over again. That's like brute force. It's like beating you over the head with the same ad. Well, with dynamic re-engagement, you know exactly what they did when they were on your site because that is what's tracked with retargeting. So if they visited a pet store online and they clicked on dogs, well, show them a picture of a dog in your ad instead of a cat. It's more relevant to their behavior and what they did while they were on your site. So ideally, at the end of the day, they have come back to your site and hopefully they make a purchase. But in its simplest terms, retargeting is a person visits your website, they're now tracked, the person leaves your website, they log into Facebook, they see an ad related to what they did while they're on your site. And you've all seen it. If you go to Amazon, you see ads in your Facebook newsfeed or other places online or anywhere, like you said, stalking you all around the internet. That is retargeting. And it is super simple to do with just some basic steps that are easy to follow. So don't be intimidated by it. If it's something that you've ever considered, it's like marketing insurance because you're giving the people who have already visited your site another opportunity to get value from you. Okay. Now, this is one that's become a hot topic recently and is generating leads with verified Facebook contact information. Again, this is another very easy ad to set up. So don't let the concept sound intimidating. So I'm going to tell you exactly how it works here. If you do any type of email marketing and leads are the lifeblood of your business, then this semi-new Facebook offering has the potential to transform your business overnight. I'm using it with clients, and I'm finding that I'm getting leads for the cheapest that I've seen in years with any other advertising medium. I have a campaign going right now that we actually had to pause because we were collecting phone numbers too. We were getting name, email address, and phone numbers for a client, and they couldn't even keep up with the leads they were getting. So we paused the campaign for a while.
Yeah, I'm wondering, you guys, how many of you raise your hand in the chat or post in the chat? How many of you are trying to generate, build an email list, generate leads for either your business or even for a client's business that maybe you manage, and part of what you do for them is help them collect email addresses using social media or other, maybe even you help them with their email newsletter that they send out. I'm just curious how many of you are trying to find ways to get more leads from social media. I'm getting a resounding and immediate yes from everybody, Jesse. I just wanted to.
Gotcha. Perfect. Good to know for sure. So, you know, it's interesting. When this first became available, it was only on mobile devices, and now it's on desktop too, but I still use mostly mobile because it's the least expensive traffic. So let me share with you exactly how this works. So the first thing is that makes these so significant. If you've done any type of marketing to try and generate leads, and you've used, like, you know, opt-in forms on your website and all that sort of thing, you know that the more information you ask for, the fewer people actually complete the form. And the reason for this is that, you know, people kind of gauge, well, is the perceived value I'm going to get worth all of this typing, especially on a mobile phone where you're typing with your thumbs. Well, what the lead generation ads allow you to do is create an ad, and imagine scrolling your news feed on your phone, and you see something that interests you, and it's an offer, whether it's subscribe to your newsletter, download a free report, whatever it might be, get a free quote. There's a lot of options that you can use for the call to action there. But all the person has to do to engage this ad is tap it once to express interest in it. The next thing that's going to happen is a little screen right there is going to pop up. It's going to be pre-populated with their Facebook verified contact information. And you can ask for name, email, phone number, job title, a whole bunch of different things that Facebook might have on them. And so all they have to do next is tap one more time to submit that information that you, the advertiser, have requested. And that's it. Tap, tap, and you're done. You have a lead. And because this is so easy for people to do, to subscribe to whatever your offer is on a mobile device, 2 taps and they're done, the cost of these leads have become ridiculously low. Like I said, and what's interesting about it too is because it doesn't take any more effort to type in another field. I did a test where I tested name and email address versus name, email address, and phone number. And in both cases, the cost was the same, 36 cents per lead. So very powerful tool. And again, the process for setting up ads on Facebook is super simple. When this first came out, it was a little more complicated. You had to use Power Editor, which is an advanced way to do your ads on Facebook. But now it's just the regular ads manager. They walk you through the steps for creating these lead generation ads so you can create leads for your business or for a client. So no more typing is required, and the information is verified. So no lost leads due to typos or jokers just typing in anything. And again, this is one of the results when we were testing as well. We actually saw some leads all the way down to 25 cents. So there's about 160 leads there that were 25 cents each. Another one, this is the one I was referring to where I did a test where I produced 794 leads with name, email address, and phone number for a client for 36 cents each. And because we produced so many, we actually had to pause the campaign so that the people that were actually calling the leads were able to catch up, and they still haven't caught up. So we still have that campaign paused.
Yeah, I know you guys that are on here listening. If you have clients that you're providing this service for, and they would love to hear from you that you've discovered a new technique from Facebook to be able to get them email leads on their newsletter list for something like 36 cents each as a service that you can provide. So that's the a little bit of Facebook ad budget and understanding how to set up these mobile lead ads could be a valuable service that you could add to your repertoire.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. So here's one more thing that Facebook can do for your business. And this is something that's new. And so last year when I was speaking at events, I kept saying that 2016 was going to be the year that social goes commercial. And Facebook's slowly been turning up the heat, since it knows that that is not the reason that people show up on Facebook, but it doesn't mean that they can't purchase something while they're there. So they might actually gain that interest. And so now, as of a couple months ago, Facebook has added it so that a page can have its own shop. And they partnered with a merchant processor called Stripe, who is very easy to sign up for. They have like next to no verification or anything for it. You just fill out a quick form and you are up and running, able to accept credit cards. And so I think that's the reason that Facebook partnered with them. And there's actually quite a few other large companies that are partnering with Stripe as well. Very easy to use, easy to set up. And it's just simply a matter of giving your product a name, a price, a description, inventory, if it's what you have. Right now, they're only accepting physical products. So even if you had like a jewelry business or something where you have some type of products that you're selling and you give it a shipping method and you're done, that's it. And then now you can add that shop button to the front of your page. Something else they recently added is that now people can subscribe to find out when you have new products that are added. So Facebook is really starting to change the fact that even though people aren't on Facebook to buy products and services or to solve problems, physical products are being sold. A lot of different products are being sold on Facebook, but now you can do it specifically through Facebook's partnership with Stripe. Very easy to set up, doesn't take much. You get your product approved and then you're up and running. It could happen within a day. So there's 6 things right there that Facebook can do for your business. And so what I'm trying to do as I'm going through all of this, and we're going to start to shift into some more practical application of Facebook, but I wanted to give you this high level overview so that, like many of you didn't even know some of these things were available. And so I wanted you to at least be aware of them so that you can decide for yourself which ones might be best for you and your business or for your clients. So now I want to talk about the 3 Facebook marketing objectives. And so now that you have an idea of what Facebook can do for you, taking a look at these 3 categories of ongoing objectives that you should be focused on while Facebooking your business. Now, the first one here is building an audience. And so a lot of the people I was working with this past weekend at this workshop, they have just now created a fan page. And so there was a few of them that had fans as much as like a couple thousand, but most of them had just started and had under 100. And so we were having the conversation about growing an audience. And it used to be, and some of you are probably familiar with this, when people were trying to just get a whole bunch of fans just for the vanity appearance of being popular. They're not talking about your personal profile. I'm talking about an actual fan page. And the problem with that is that if you have a whole bunch of people that really weren't interested in what you had to say or share in the future, then they wouldn't engage you. And if they don't engage you, then you get penalized by Facebook. And so fewer people in the future will see your content. So audience growth is a big one. And so it's starting to change. I'm actually even starting to change the way that I teach about growing an audience on Facebook, because this is your tribe. You're actually creating a place where you can express your company's value or a company that is a client of yours, and you're creating a tribe for them. And now every person that likes your page, I want you to think of them as an individual person and a lead. And so audience growth is that first step in actually getting, being able to expose yourself as your business, your offering, or for a client. So that's one of the things you're going to be focusing on with your Facebook efforts. Now, your next objective is to maintain high engagement with your audience. And as your reach grows, your audience will include those that have targeted, that you've targeted specifically. You remember when I told you about audience insights and all the cool things you could do? I showed you the pizza example. Well, you could do that for travel, for scuba diving, for baby clothes, whatever, you name it, paintball accessories, anything you can think of, you can build an audience around, and the audience insights will tell you where to find those rabid fans that you can not only grow your audience with, but it'll tell you how to engage them. It's going to give you feedback on that. So audience growth, audience engagement. And the third one is what I call social response marketing. Now, in the past, my background is from direct response marketing, meaning that I help people online to create sales funnels where they track and measure everything all the way through. You want a direct response on everything that's happening. This doesn't work the same way on social media, and especially on Facebook. I mean, how many times have you seen, ads that are kind of annoying just because they're overly selling? And that's not why people are there on Facebook. It shows up like a used car salesman in your news feed when you're looking at, friends and family stuff. So there's a different way to do that, and it's more along the lines of inviting people. So again, those are everything that you do on Facebook is either going to be considered growing your audience, engaging with your audience, or giving them some other level of value, be it selling them products or services, or inviting them to be a part of your newsletter, say, for instance. And that engagement part can also suffice as a customer support channel, which a lot of businesses will use their social media platforms for. As I had mentioned with the lead generation ads, these are some examples of social response marketing. These are some of the options when you create that lead generation ad. It could be apply now, download, get a quote, learn more, sign up, subscribe. So that would be the button that people would see if they were seeing your ad, and that's what they would see at the bottom of the ad. Okay, very important question. What is required of you? Time and money. What kind of effort and investment of time and money is required for you to build an audience, engage with that audience, and invite them to consume value from your company or from a client? I'll get right to the heart of it by answering some of the most common questions that I hear from businesses, both large and small. And while there are many opinions on this subject, I'm going to give you mine based on my experience. First is how often do I need to be posting content? Because if any of you are doing this for a client now, you know that there's such a thing as a runaway client. And I'm talking about the ones that you initially offered to do this for them, and now you feel like you're doing everything for them, and you're just posting and posting and posting, or this could relate to whatever other services you provide as well as a virtual assistant. The answer to this question is as little as 1 post per week and as much as 4 times per day. Now, I understand this is a wide gap, but there are very few pages on Facebook that fall outside of this gap here. Now, what you need to do is to figure out how much time that you can allocate to the activity. And then you divide it into an even and consistent posting schedule. Now, regardless of where you sit between these two numbers, spread it out evenly and be consistent with it. If you're starting with 1 piece of content a week schedule, then post it on the same day and time each week. Be consistent. It's far better to have 1 piece of content a week than it is to post 4 times this week and then nothing for the rest of the month. And I would much rather see you posting less content and taking the extra time to be social and to interact with people who engage your content than to post lots of content and have no engagement from anyone. So how much time itself is required to be effective on Facebook? Now, there's two different sets of time that I'm referring to. The first one here is actual time engaging and listening. Posting is something you can actually do with a posting schedule tool. There's many of them out there, and you can actually schedule your posts directly on Facebook. So let's say that rather than going to post once a day or posting 4 times a day and being consistent with it, where you actually go in and do it yourself, spend 1 day out of the week or 2 days out of the week and schedule all your posts so that part is done. Then you can come back, and the 30 minutes a day here that I'm saying you should be focused on as a minimum for a Facebook page to really build it and nurture it and engage it, 30 minutes. This is allow you to be consistent. Now, as I mentioned, this isn't the creating content. This is 30 minutes for listening and engaging. Listening means that you're looking to see how people are responding to the things that you've posted in the past and the things that your closest competitors have also posted. So you're listening to what the conversations are going on around there. Let's say, for example, that you are a chiropractic office and you are spending time on Facebook listening to see what other chiropractic offices that are doing well on Facebook, what are they doing? What kind of content are they posting that the audiences are paying attention to and engaging? And then also you're spending time looking at your own content to see what people are responding to. But more importantly, the moment someone engages you, especially with a comment, that you also engage them back. And it could simply be answering their question. It could be asking them a question. But that is what the best use of that time is. And if you only had 30 minutes, you're going to want to break that up into 2 chunks. And the reason for this is it's better to show up once in the morning and once in the afternoon than to spend that all at once, because then you're more likely to be more timely with answering someone's questions or engaging them. Because what happens is the sooner you can reply to someone, especially if they're online, that creates a conversation and they're more likely to also engage you back. And when this happens, Facebook sees this as a closer connection, and they are much more likely in the future to see your future content. So another question that comes up, should I engage Facebook on weekends? Well, if your business is open, then engage. It's a common question. If you're a bike shop, then chances are you do plenty of business on the weekends. And so yes, you'll want to be engaged with Facebook on the weekends as well. If your business is the type that closes on the weekends, and yes, you can get away with not engaging your fans then either. And of course, there are exceptions to every rule. Now, what is the maximum amount of time that I could commit to Facebook? The answer is there really isn't a maximum amount of time. And I'm sure you've all been there. And it's very, very important that if you're doing this work for a client or for yourselves even, that you segment your time. I don't care if you got to get an egg timer, put it on your desk, and don't get caught up in, oh, look, butterfly or a squirrel, and wander off somewhere else on Facebook, because it will consume a lot of your time. But even for a business, it's possible to actually spend an infinite amount of business time engaging and doing things on Facebook. But with that said, there are a few companies that see significant advantage from posting more than 4 times a day. And with unless you have a lot of people engaging you back, then you don't need to be spending so much time trying to manage your page. So again, infinite number of time. Now, I do have this as an example here for a company that spends an tremendous amount of time. They actually engage 24 hours. They post 9.3 times a day. And it's a group of rabid fans that really, really, really love science. Now, I use this as an example because it's one of the most successful concept pages on all of Facebook. They have 24 million fans that really engage them from all around the world. So in their instance, because it is their business model, they, with certainty, have reason to spend a lot of time engaging on Facebook. Now, this is another big question, because it used to be that you could just get by doing a whole bunch of stuff organically. Things changed about a couple years ago, where now you essentially do have to pay to play on Facebook. So the question is, do you have to spend money? And for most businesses, the answer is yes. Now, this may come as a shock to some people. However, it is still one of the lowest cost advertising mediums on all of the internet now, if you're using it correctly, and it will pay dividends, because as you're spending some money, and I'm going to show you where you would be spending that money here in just a moment, it's actually going to make your organic reach, meaning the stuff that happens naturally without any ads, you're going to see much, much more of that as a result of just a little bit of ads. So what kind of things can you do with it, with advertising on Facebook? We covered a bunch of those a moment ago, but I just want to do a quick recap. Well, you could grow your audience with some page likes. Page likes cost anywhere on the low end from 17 cents up to, I will usually not even for any client, unless it's a real niche, wouldn't pay more than $1. Now, because of targeting, I want you to think of your likes as leads. You don't want, I don't even want your friends and family on your Facebook page, honestly, unless they're likely to buy something from you. You only want the people that are specifically interested in whatever it is you have to offer for your business or for a business that you represent. No one else really belongs in that page, because otherwise they are considered a part of your audience that doesn't engage you if the stuff you're posting doesn't interest them. So you only want people who are interested, and page likes are a way to go out and target those people and find them. And I'll show you a tool that we use here shortly to do some of that. Page post engagement, extending the reach. Just because you have a fan now on your page doesn't mean they're going to see all of your content. So one of the ways you can ensure that they see it is by ads that boost your posts. Local awareness. If you are assisting a company that actually has a traditional brick and mortar business, they're located somewhere, or someone that does live events, then you can actually create ads that are seen by people physically standing in a geographic radius of that business. And Facebook knows this because it's using their mobile phone as a means to know. Lead generation ads we talked about retargeting. Video views. If you or a client creates a small, simple video, and I like videos less than 2 minutes, right now you can extend the reach of your audience. You can reach so much more audience for super cheap with video view ads. And also, you've probably seen these most recently, Facebook Live. Facebook Live gets a tremendous amount of engagement. Kate and I were just talking about that earlier today. And we also noticed in some of our social media groups that people are talking about their own experiences for themselves and with clients by video. Facebook is really, really going thick, getting really heavy with video. And if you haven't noticed this yourself on your phone, when you actually click on a video to watch, Facebook's now doing what YouTube has been doing for a long time. And that is, when that video is over, it's going to wait 4 seconds and it's going to show you another video. So video views are really, really picking up a lot of steam on Facebook. And if you're paying for an ad to reach more people, consider an ad with that's showing views of videos, because it's the lowest cost means to get more engagement for your page. Anything coming up, Kate? I just want to keep going on. If there are some questions that need to be answered, I do have quite a bit more to cover.
Yeah, I just had a question come in. Actually, it was perfect timing. KJ asks, I have 3 businesses that have similar audiences. Mm-hmm. I separate them with different websites. Should I separate different Facebook pages for each website?
Think of it this way. When you set up a Facebook page, you want to set it up. You've heard me use the word quite a few times now, tribes. You want to set it up based on a group of people in a specific interest in a specific product or service. So if there's instances where if the audiences are related, it can be a single page. If the audiences are as far apart as, put it this way. If it's a travel agency, do you need a separate page for honeymoons and for adventure travel or scuba dive trips? No, you don't. You could, but you don't have to. But if it's as far difference as a scuba dive shop and a pet store, then of course you're going to absolutely want different pages. So you're going to have to really look at your audience and kind of see how best to segment it. If you feel like sharing what they are, I could tell you exactly.
We'll see if the sharing of what they are come in from KJ, but that was the only question I have.
Okay. So now we're going to talk about, let's say that, for instance, that you have a fan page already. You've got it set up, and you might be hearing crickets on the page right now. So I'm going to share a couple things with you to kind of help you start boosting some engagement and knowing exactly what you should be posting in the first place, where to find the good stuff. I'm also going to talk a bit about our content posting formula that we use and the difference between comments and comment replies. This was a topic we talked a bit about over the weekend here at this workshop retreat I just did, and it was a lot of people that had a lot of questions, were confused about when to use a comment versus a comment reply, and also what is the difference to Facebook when you use one over the other. I'm also going to share the 135 content posting formula. Okay, what should I post? Well, one of the things you definitely want to do, and I call these spy games because I'm not a big fan of reinventing the wheel, and chances are that no matter what market you're in, there's someone else in that market who's already doing a very good job on Facebook, who's already taken the time to test a bunch of things, and you can look to see what their fans are responding to. So one of the things you want to do, and Facebook made this available quite a while ago, you can go to the insights section of your page, which you're going to find at the very top of the page. See where the arrow is there. And you click that, and then you're going to see a section where you can click on add pages to watch. Now, in this particular case, one of our clients does coaching programs for women. They do group coaching, individual coaching. They have different products that they sell. And so we wanted to follow some pages that were related. Why? Because we want to see what they're doing that's working for them so that we can take some of the guesswork out of it. So one of the first things you want to do is add a bunch of pages that also share your fan base. Second thing you're going to want to do is set up a couple of Google alerts for yourself. If your products or services are related to meditation, set up some things that are going to give you some recent news on meditation. That way you can kind of ride the tails of what's happening in the news and tie it into your product or service offering by being social and sharing it. So the Google alerts do a good job of keeping you posted there. Now, this is one of our secret weapons in our agency, so I'm sharing this with you now. Fan Page Karma. And you can find them at fanpagekarma.net. They do have a free trial. And then I also think their lowest offering is about $50. You don't have to keep it forever. You may get hooked on it like I am, but this tool allows you to do some really amazing stuff. For instance, when looking at competing mud runs, some of you are familiar with like Tough Mudder, Warrior Dash, Mud Run, all these types of races that have kind of spawned up over the past 5 to 7 or so years. This is just a screenshot in the back office of Fan Page Karma that kind of gives me a look at who's doing good on social right now, who's doing really well. Number of fans, how fast are they growing, what kind of engagement do they get from their audience, how many times do they post per day. I can even drill into look to see which of their posts are rising to the top and getting the most engagement from their fans. Kind of like a little cheat sheet. I can look at the actual posts and see which ones that people are liking, commenting on, sharing. I can also look to see what other pages are sharing their same fan base. This is going to give me more ways to target to grow my own audience for myself, or in the case of having a client that you're doing this for. It'll even show you the connections of how those pages are connected to each other. So that way you might find that, hey, I never thought of this page over here following to see what they're doing, but the fans that I'm after sure seem to like it. I can also see the individual fans themselves who are influencers and what they liked and commented on. So this is a super tool that we've been using for quite some time, and I just can't seem to put it down, and everyone that I share it with seems to find value in it as well. Okay, You've been hearing me say about the CSEI content posting formula. This is what it is. So this is creating posts that focus on a cycle of connecting, sharing, and entertaining. And so you want to make sure that you're maintaining a ratio. I usually say about 80-20 of content to promotion, meaning that you can share a number of things that are content that you're connecting, that are entertaining, that are sharing, which is why you see so many photo quotes that are out there. And then after you've built up some social credibility, you can then go ahead and invite them to consume some other value. Like I said, subscribe to your newsletter, buy a product or service, come to an event. So Tough Mudder, using them as an example, here's how they're connecting, sharing, and entertaining. I ran one of these a few years back. It's about 13 miles and 29 obstacles. And well, I tell you, it's a tough race, but they have a lot of rabid fans. This is an example of them creating a post that really doesn't have a whole lot to do with running the race itself, other than the fact that everyone likes the idea of falling in love. And so they posted this picture of someone in mud proposing to his fiance. And you can see that it was liked 24,000 times. Now, what this does for Tough Mudder is that all those people that like that page, they're much more likely to see some of the future posts of Tough Mudder. So they're using this to connect. It's a connection post. This is another connection post that they did where they sat around and had conversation about Tough Mudder and about future events and things like that. And they must have asked a lot of questions because they got 1.3 thousand comments, which is a lot of comments for a post. So it's another way of connecting with their fans. They've also, so they introduced this mock video called Baby Mudder. And this is a good example of something being entertaining, because what did it do? It got 11,000 shares, 15,000 likes, and 2,000 comments. And it's just a promotional video that a lot of people thought were funny. They also do a really good job of creating stuff that ties the past in with the future. This is Tough Mudder. They show clips from past Tough Mudders, but then they all talk about their new obstacles, and it really gets them engaged. So now through connecting, sharing, and entertaining, they now have the ability to invite, and it doesn't come across as a sales pitch. So this is how Tough Mudder themselves are doing fairly well on Facebook by connecting, sharing, entertaining, and inviting. And they do that with their 4 million fans. Now, can they do better? Absolutely. If I was recommending what they should be doing next, I would tell them to start looking for the lowest hanging fruit. And I refer to this as the stuff that is going to produce the greatest results for the least amount of effort. And I'm going to skip through a couple of these slides here, but the point is, what I'm going to share with you is that the number one area that they could see improvement is in their engagement. And this is something that's so simple that has a big impact on Facebook. This is an example of a post that someone shared on February 11th, and it got a bunch of comments, and then it died out. And then the person that shared the original post actually came back and shared another comment, or they commented on the post again. And you see what it did? It fired that post back up. So the reason this is important is that comments and comment replies are a surefire, powerful way to engage your fans and to spark conversation. Now, don't let your eyes glaze over with this slide. I just wanted to show you this because there is over 100,000 equations in this formula of what Facebook decides to show in your news feed. The good news is that these three right here are the most important factors about what actually shows up in a person's news feed. And this is why comments and comment replies are so important. The first one is interest, and it's interest of the user in you, the creator, the owner of the page, the person posting the content. And the second is post performance with other users. And the third is performance of the creator's past posts. So every time that you connect with someone through comments and comment replies, you're increasing that interest from the user, you're boosting that performance of a post. And because over time, there's a lot of engagement, that last one, the performance of your past posts, come into play. And so what will happen is more of your fans will see your content in the future. So comments and comment replies, every chance you have to reply to someone that engaged your post, you definitely want to do it because it's going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. And as a result, you see at the top here, Rogue Fitness is actually outperforming all of them. And why are they doing that? Well, the reason being is that, let's take a look at one of their posts here. You see that they're commenting all over their pages. They're actually engaging their users. You know, here's an instance of a guy named Nick who commented, and in Rogue, they actually replied right here, but they did it as a nested reply. So here's where I'm going to answer that question. When do you use, what's the difference between a nested reply and just a reply, a general comment? Well, when Rogue Fitness chose to reply to Nick Parson here, what happened was there is a little sidebar conversation going on. And everyone in that sidebar conversation are going to be the ones most likely to get an update from Facebook. So-and-so commented on or liked a post that you're following. And it builds a tighter connection between Rogue Fitness and Nick Parsons. Now, the difference is if Rogue Fitness had just done it as a general comment, then it's going to have a lesser of a connection to Nick as an individual, but it's going to send out more updates to all of the people who have commented or liked or shared and are following that post. So both of them have times where you want to pepper in both. You want to create tighter connections with individuals, and you also want to create some good engagement with everyone as a whole that's engaged that post. And so you want to use both of these, and these are what will do a great job of increasing engagement on a page, not just now, but also in the future. Finally, I got this one last couple last things here to show you, and that is how to determine post effectiveness. Well, I have a 1-3-5 rating system, 1 for a like, 3 for comments, and 5 for shares. Now, even though that Facebook has these new emoticons, different ways to emote, they still get 1 point. And the reason for this is that the like is like a high five. It's just a thumbs up, a head nod. And it's easy to do, requires the least amount of effort whatsoever. And so a like gets 1 point. Now, a comment gets 3 points. Now, I will say, though, the comment is the most challenging to get from your post. Now, why is the comment only 3 points if it's the most challenging? Because the comment is limited to the dialogue on that post and that page. It's still important, but it gets 3 points rather than the 5 that the share gets, because the share now expanded your reach outside of your fan base to whoever shared it and their reach. So that's why you get 1 point for a like, 3 points for a comment, and 5 points for a share. So when you're looking at your own post, this is how you can quickly kind of rate the effectiveness of the reach, as well as looking at other people's posts. All right. So we've taken a bit of time here, and as I mentioned, I was going to cover a whole lot of stuff. We talked a bit about why Facebook is king, why people are on Facebook, what Facebook can do for your business. We covered about 6 different things there. We talked about 3 primary Facebook marketing objectives: what to post, how often to post, where to find content, the 1-3-5 post rating system. We talked about fan page karma as a great tool. Talked about a content posting formula. Talked a bit about the lowest hanging fruit for high engagement, as well as comments versus comment replies. So the question becomes,
Jesse, I put a little poll out, and we got a lot of people coming back saying they learned way more than 2 new things that they can apply to their business today. So they learned at least 2 things, or I asked if they learned more than 2 things, and by overwhelming responses, they learned way more than 2 new things that they can apply to their business. So thanks for hanging in here with us, you guys.
yes, absolutely.
And thank you for presenting, Jesse.
Awesome. That is absolutely my goal. You know, when I put this together, I mean, as Kate will tell you, I labor over the presentations because I want to pack as much as I can. I try not to overwhelm. I know that sometimes I share a lot of information, and depending upon what your skill level is, some of it may go over your head. But the good news is that hopefully you have something you can take away, and it sounds like many of you have. So a good question here is, where do you go from here? And the usual suspects, in my experience, are one of three different things. Now, without question, as I mentioned, there's likely some things that you can immediately go and apply from this workshop. And chances are you're going to have some questions as you go and will benefit from some additional guidance. And so for you, I've actually put together a special invitation for you that serves as a logical next step for you to get the most out of Facebook, not only for your business, but as an offering to your clients, in other words, to expand your reach. And Kate and I find this all the time that, a lot of times people are looking to social media for a number of reasons. One, to expand the reach of their own business. Two, to extend their offerings of their current products or services. Or three, to actually start a business of their own. It's one of the things where if my family and friends were to tell me or ask me, hey, what would you recommend? Social media is one of those ones that's easy for a person to get involved in. So after these workshops, I typically find that these are the three things that people will usually do. One, you could do absolutely nothing with this information. You'd be like, thanks, Jesse, that was interesting. I'll catch you later. And I hope this isn't the case. And I do realize I gave you a lot of information. And again, we have people of varying degrees of experience on here. Now, you also might be interested in more step-by-step approach. But also, the next group are the people that will go and apply what you've learned. Now, for all of you, don't be intimidated by retargeting. You absolutely, if you have a website, you want to go and apply this. Now you know what comments versus comment replies are. If you have a page, go out there, start returning, engage. If someone comments, reply. Fan page karma, it's going to give you it's going to allow you to spy on some other pages and learn some really cool stuff, or you might want to generate some leads for your business. A lot of cool things that you can immediately go and do right now from this content. And of course, the third option is that Kate and I, we actually got together in business about, it's been about 3, 4, it's been a while now. It's been a number of years. And we originally came out with Social Media Manager Pro. We're deeply entrenched in social media, and it's what we teach, as an educational website. And we just recently launched Social Media Pro instead of Social Media Manager Pro, which we still have. But this is our new site, and we're very proud of it. Been working on it for a year. And so being that we love Tess and we love her community, this is one of the first, this is the first webinar that we're doing, actually making this offer available so that people can go and learn more on many of the topics that I just talked about. Over the years, our site has evolved. We actually have a faculty now of more than a dozen social media marketing experts. And we work with businesses both large and small because we have an agency as well where we do real world stuff with clients. Many of the things I showed you and some of the examples for leads, those are actual real clients. So I shared on this webinar just a portion of what Facebook can do. And of course, we don't really have the time to get into each steps of the how to do it and walk you through it where you can look over my shoulder. But at least I got the wheels turning about the things you could be doing with it. But we have training on all the major social networks, as well as all aspects of a business that can even help you beyond social media, meaning that to grow your virtual assistant business, we actually cover everything from proposals to finding new clients to how to serve them, packaging, pricing, all that kind of stuff. We leave nothing to chance. And we've been doing this for a long time now. And in addition to that, my particular expertise is the Facebook advertising side of it. And we actually have courses in Social Media Pro specific to how do you create those leads. You want to look over my shoulder and look at my screen as I'm actually going through the process and creating real leads live. And also Social Retargeting Pro. You want to know how to get retargeting set up on your website in simple, easy to follow steps. All the feedback from anyone that's ever been through these trainings is that finally it made sense to me and it made it easy. So that's my goal as I go through it. It's also important to note that over the years, we truly have thousands of students that have gone on to do some amazing things with our training. One of which recently, what's exciting, found out that he became one of 13 people chosen to be a part of Facebook's Small Business Council. So that was a real honor for him. And it was really cool to see him go from no experience in the space to actually being a part of a team on Facebook. This here is an old slide. Some of you may be in this group already, not sure. But when I say it's an old slide, we're about just under about 10,500 or so now members. We run the largest group on Facebook for social media marketing professionals. So yeah, again, been doing this quite some time. So the point is if you're looking for an ever-evolving social media marketing training resource, then Social Media Pro is the one for you. We're just now opening the doors to a brand new site, and you are among the first to actually, if you decide to take us up on this offer, have access to this new training. And we love working with Tess and the Virtual Assistant Forums community, so we put together something pretty cool. But first, I want to just show you like a sneak peek inside. When you first log into our members area, you've got a video walkthrough of the site that shows you how to get the most out of the site. And after you've been a member for a while, this section will actually be featured content and important community updates. Here, you can jump right into training content that will teach you all aspects of social media: Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, Snapchat, you name it, and courses about advertising on social networks. We even have courses that teach you everything you need to know about creating and managing a website on WordPress. And then also the business side of things, again, presentations that we've done ourselves in our agency, proposals, documents on how to structure your business, all kinds of cool stuff like that, where to find clients. We also have discussion forums for each of the course topics, as well as general discussion, question and answer, site and content review, winning examples of social media, and more. And we do live trainings a couple times a month that we call Connect. In fact, this is where you can interact directly with me and the rest of our faculty in a group setting. You have a page or content you would like for me to take a look at and provide feedback, or ads that you're running, or a Facebook page. We have regular question and answer sessions just for that. We also have regular guest experts sharing timely information that'll give you a distinct marketing advantage, and share stuff like what I shared with you today. And as new changes come to Facebook, which are coming all the time, you'll hear from me, you'll hear from others on LinkedIn and other topics. And you're also going to have access to our archives of our past connects, and we've been doing them for a couple of years now. So there's that question: what's the cost? We really, over the past years, we developed this new site. We really gave a lot of thought to how we wanted to structure this and make it accessible to everyone. And I believe that's what we've done. We have two different segments on our site. And for you who have a business of your own already as a virtual assistant, we would recommend the professional side. The other side that we have is business, and that's actually for traditional businesses that want to learn social media for their own exposure. And what's kind of cool that we have the two sides of the fences is that we're going to be working towards being able to marry the two, so that we'll actually be able to do a thing where we can kind of matchmake between service providers and actual businesses that decide that, okay, I understand social media, but I'd rather have someone do it for me. So with that, we actually have 9 courses right now with more than 70 lessons and an ever-expanding curriculum. We have the interactive community with forums dedicated to each course. And of course, we have the business hangout or business connect where we do our live hangouts. And this is not just for business. We've called it Connect for quite some time, but we'll do all kinds of stuff: drive-bys for sites, question and answer, bring on experts, cool stuff. And again, you get archives to that as well. And here's how we've structured it. We've made it simple for a person to get started. We used to sell our courses, our course access in bulk, as in you pay a one-time fee to gain access to it, but it was a large fee that wasn't accessible to a lot of people. And we wanted a model where we can continuously update content and really make it a more interactive community and put more resources and time and energy into it. So what we've made available for Tess and all of her folks with us today is $97 a month, gets you access to absolutely everything. And the link on the bottom there is how you get take you straight to the special offer page. And for those of you that know that, hey, social media is going to be around, I want the training, I want to feel like I've got some experts in my back pocket, I want to feel like anytime I go to a client and they ask me something I don't know, you can say to them, hey, let me get back to you. I'm going to go talk to my team. Well, we're your team. So you have the ability now to go in with confidence and pretty much promote any type of social media marketing services. And for that, if you wanted to just know that you're going to get the immediate savings, 50%, you could pay for an entire year for $582. And again, that link there is at the bottom. And Kate actually talked me into throwing in something really cool. And very few times have I offered this. I want to tell you about this. I think I mentioned that one of the projects I worked on for quite some time was a large social network of home business owners called Better Networker. We had 179,000 home business owners, and we had a bunch of leaders within the community. And so I commissioned my entire staff to interview a bunch of top leaders in home-based business and ask them all kinds of questions like, what do you do with your day? You know, how do you structure your time? What are the things that you focus on? What books are you reading? You know, just anything, you know, where do you get your leads? How do you find clients? All the things you could possibly imagine. And we ended up with this incredibly awesome book called The Definitive Guide to Home Business Success. And I want to include that and throw that in just to you guys for anyone that wants to take advantage of this offer while we have it up. So that's the offer that we have for you today. I'd love to have some of you join our community so that I can kind of get to know you better. And right now, while some of you are going ahead and going to the link, I want to stick around and I want to answer some questions, anything you've written down, any questions you have about anything that we just shared.
So you guys, you can use the, do you mind muting while I talk, Jesse?
Oh, sure. No problem.
Yeah, so you guys just use the Q&A feature. Oh, I guess it's me, huh? Just use the Q&A feature right there, or you can use the chat. Either way, let me know if you have any questions. Beverly, yes, we can make sure that you get more information about Social Media Pro. We'll be sending out the replay link so that you guys can watch again in case there was anything that you missed or if you didn't get your cheat sheets. And along with it, we'll for sure send you a link to Social Media Pro as well. If you click on the little offer tab, you guys will be able to see how you can very quickly get over to the page and read if you want more details about each of the individual courses. But some of you have been on with me in the past and you're familiar with the product I've talked to you about, which is Social Media Pro. And we're really, really excited about this new platform and the new layout and the whole community. And like Jesse mentioned, moving towards a directory of service providers that we can connect our business owners that we train with service providers as well. So it's a great opportunity and a great time to join. And really, we listened to you guys' feedback from those trainings that I've been doing with you about wanting to have an accessible training that was a low-cost barrier to entry. And we really feel like for any business, anybody providing social media services or any kind of virtual assistant services, that $97 a month is a really great way to jump in and get started. And Jesse's Definitive Guide to Home-Based Business is a great book for anybody that has, you know, that they're home work in their pajamas. We usually sell it for $37, but he agreed to give it to everybody who takes advantage of our new offer today because we really want to see you guys succeed. Anybody want to jump in and ask questions? Please do. Please do jump in and ask the questions. Thank you. Jennifer has been my help here on the with the link with the chat here, and we've gotten some really good feedback. I love a whole new direction for my business and a whole new direction for hiring a new VA in a business. Barbara's asking for you to hop back to the slide where you review how retargeting works. Do you have a minute to do that, Jesse? Don't forget you're on mute there.
All right, 1 second. Let me pull this up.
Okay.
So we'll go to retargeting. So in its most basic form, where are we? Here we go. In its most basic form, retargeting is simply a matter of 3 steps. Now, this is not the setup part, but this is actually how it functions. A person comes to your website. Because you have retargeting in place, once they leave your website, they are now eligible to see your ads. And it's a little tiny bit of tracking code that ends up on your site. And so now when on Facebook, a person's able to see your ads, and they're really easy to set up. In fact, as I mentioned in the back office of Social Media Pro, I have an entire course that walks you step by step through all of it. So again, person visit your site, tracking's enabled. Why? Because there's a tiny little piece of code. And you know, in the training, we show exactly how it takes you less than 5 minutes, probably like 3 minutes. Go to Facebook, get the code, place it on your website, you're done. I even show you how to verify it as well with a little thing called Pixel Helper. Now that its tracking's enabled, it's starting to observe the behavior of what the people are doing when they're on your site. When they visit your site, what they search for, what pages did they go to, all that sort of thing. Now, when they leave, pass that up, they're now eligible to be retargeted. So the moment they log into Facebook, if you have an ad running that's only targeting those people that visited your website, they now can see your ads. They click your link, they see the ad. And again, you can be creative with your ads. If they visited something about a particular service that you offer, you can run an ad that is about that particular service just to those people that landed on that particular page. And then hopefully they become a customer. So that is, in a nutshell, retargeting.
Yeah, I hope that was helpful to you, Beverly. So it's just a little invisible piece of code that you're going to put on either on your website or on your client's websites. And then anybody that comes, so let's say I come along and I'm checking out your VA services, but I'm looking, I'm reading a bunch of different pages, but I don't necessarily buy from you right then. Later that day, I wander back to Facebook. Now I'm seeing you've already set up an ad that I can see that directly correlates to the pages that I was looking at on your VA, on your website. And it works on any website, not just, you know, yours, your clients, anybody's. They get added to an audience group, and you can show them all kinds of different types of advertising. It will remind me, like Jesse showed that one slide, someone knocks at the door, baby's crying, you know, we all get busy. And so when I go back to Facebook later and I see your ad, it might remind me, oh yeah. The other thing, you know, you guys, as a service provider, you always should be a good example to your potential clients of the business that you're in. So if you're going to be offering retargeting services, then if you're mentioning them to a client on a call or in a proposal, and you send them to your website for some reason, then you can be retargeting them in an ad. In the client's mind, it goes, oh, they really do. You know, they're getting me to go back to their website through this advertisement. I bet that they can help me do that for my clients as well. So it's interesting that as you add these services that you're adding them, they're valuable. This training is valuable to use for yourself to grow your client business. It's also really helpful to add some services that you can do for your clients and show them some new results. So it works really twofold for you in that regard.
So I see a couple of questions about where do you get the code. Facebook provides the code themselves. When you go into the ads manager area of Facebook, there will be a drop down for Pixel. And you click on that and thing will pop up and it'll give you your unique pixel code. So you get it from Facebook, and that's how Facebook tracks it. Mm-hmm.
And of course, you guys, we in that Social Retargeting Pro course, which is one of the training modules that's in Social Media Pro Professional, there are I think it's about a 7-video course where Jesse walks you through where to get the code, how to put it on your client's site, how to set up your ads and your audience buckets. We did a training a little while ago, and somebody commented in the chat just like you guys are here now, and they were already creating their audience buckets before the training was even over. It's really just that it's really very easy, even if you consider yourself a non-techie person. Jesse, just like he trained you today, has a great way of breaking things down in simple, easy to follow steps that anyone can do. I know I'm constantly learning from him as well. So all of the information about how to do all of the things that we showed you today are in the Social Media Pro Professional. And of course, you have immediate access to all of it, all the trainings. It's not like you're just buying one training for $97. You're getting 9 different trainings for that initial investment of $97.
Yes, indeed.
Pretty amazing. So do we have any other questions coming in? No, I don't see anything coming in the Q&A. So if you guys don't have any more questions, then maybe we'll go ahead and wrap up for today. And hopefully Tess will invite us back sometime to come train you guys again.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure. Thank all of you for your time. And I truly hope that you got a lot of value from it.
Jesse, we had somebody even commented up that she learned 15 new things to add to her business today.
Awesome.
On this webinar, and that's exactly the kind of feedback that we love to hear. So if you guys want to dive deeper into all of this and learn the nuts and bolts of doing it for yourself, please come join us over in our community of social media professionals at socialmediapro.com/Tess. Keep that link handy or go over there now. We'll have the offer available to you guys for a couple of days with that free bonus of the Guide to Home-Based Business book. Which is a really, really great additional supplemental material for you guys. And so we hope to be able to meet and work with you in webinars just like this one on an ongoing basis when you become a member of the community.
All right.
Lots of good feedback. Thank you guys. See you next time.